Remember, Lee, what you're going to have to deal with, you got to see where homochirality came from. Show me a homochiral glucose. Has anybody ever made glucose homochiral in any prebiotically relevant manner? No, just glucose. How about the mass transfer problem? Lee, how do you start with, say, a kilo of material? Say you had a kilo of material. How do you take it through to all the steps you got to take it through to get life? How are you going to get more of that? The whole mass transfer problem in synthesis kills you. Talk to your postdocs who do the organic synthesis in your lab. Ask them. How about the mixture problem? How do you deal with those billions of compounds and fish out the one you want to use? I mean, you're using recrystallization and chromatography in your lab. How did early Earth do this? What about the source of information? You think information is irrelevant? Where does this information come from? I'm talking about real life information. How about protein folding? Or the Leventhal paradox 2.0, which is the interactomes, the non-covalent interactions that have to be there in a cell. How about chiral-induced spin selectivity? How are you going to deal with that? You don't even know what that is. Maybe you better go back and watch my video to see that you had to have had life. What's being shown now with chiral-induced spin selectivity, what's being shown now by Von Neumann, the discoverer of chiral-induced spin selectivity, is that you have to have had near perfect chirality at the start of life. It's not something that you could have evolved into. Just because you can't answer it doesn't mean that it's esoteric. It is a real thing. Address that. What about removing human intervention at each step? Your lab is full of human intervention. This is something that Reichert has shown and written about. Everybody says, well, why don't you write articles about origin of life? I do. I put them in the journal Inference. But Reichert put it in Nature Communications. Nobody pays attention to him. He says, you got to take out the human element. And you guys, all you do is put in human element, and you, Lee Cronin, more than anybody else. How about cell assembly? How about my challenge? Why didn't you address this? You went on Dave's video. Why didn't you address my challenge that if I gave you all of the materials, all of the carbohydrates, all of the lipids, all the nucleic acids, all the proteins that you want in any order, so I'm giving you the information, could you assemble them even in your pristine lab? And the answer is no, because remember, what you have to have all of this. You have to have all of these pieces. This is the minimal gene. It's much less than what we see in the earliest cells that we can isolate. The earliest cells, fossil record of cells, have much more function than this. But this is what you have to have for a minimal cell. This has been computed. You're going to have DNA replication, repair, restriction, and modification, basic transcription machinery, amino acyl tRNAs, and all of these, boom, 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 all of these, for the minimal cell. So that kind of wraps this thing up, experts in origin of life, and we'll deal with them one by one. We'll just take them down one by one. If you're enjoying this series, give us a thumbs up and click the subscribe button, and that way you'll hear when we're coming out with new videos. There are no salaried employees in this organization. All the accounting, all the legal work, that's all done by friends of mine. The only thing that I have to pay for is the production work, and if you could help us out with that, I'd appreciate it. There's a link below where you can just click on that and help us in several different ways. Thank you.